Hello. This will be an introductory video on how to use our sound system. We will begin by how to turn on the soundboard and turn on the entire sound booth itself. On the right-hand power bank, there is a key slot that is white. You must insert the sound booth key and turn the key 90 degrees clockwise and let it come back to rest. You will then see the red light begin to blink. This indicates that the power sequencer has turned on and the entire booth will begin to turn on. After the booth has turned on and the power sequencer has fully tuned up, you will notice that not only has the soundboard come on, but also the lighting board all the way up to our camera system. When you reach this select user screen in the main menu section, you must enter a password. Simply select Login and type in SVBC. OK. If you are recalling your user scene, select Yes. If you'd like to recall the last scene entered, select No. Upon logging in, click the Scenes button in order to select one of the many options in our Saved Scenes section. This will allow separate users to log separate Sunday services. The system will automatically log into our system start, and at the end of Thursday evening services, it is highly encouraged to save over the Sunday Ready service. On Sunday, when you have logged in, simply press the Sunday Ready service, click Go, and you will automatically bring up all saved items from that Thursday practice. An important note that has been missed often is the Mute Record Foyer button. This will be depressed during practices so that sound does not go into the fireside room, into the nursery, the toddler room, nor into the foyer. However, on Sunday, there has been issues with this button not being depressed and not turning it back on during services. Please ensure that before the service begins on Sunday morning, you turn off the Mute Record Foyer button. If this issue persists and the sound is still not coming through, please select the Output button. And you may notice that the mute is still on for the Foyer Vid section. Ensure this is depressed, and it should then send sound out to the foyer, the toddler room, the nursery, and the fireside room. Once the power sequencer has been turned on and you have brought up your saved scene you have desired on your soundboard, you're ready to then move to your lighting board. Move over to the lighting board and look at the back wall where our light switches are. In the bottom right-hand corner, you will see an unlabeled switch. You must depress that switch in order to turn on the lighting on the track system above in the sanctuary. Once the track lighting system above in the sanctuary has been turned on, you may then bring up the Grand Master switch, bringing the lights to 100%. In our playback section, which is a saved section of presets of multiple fixtures in the sanctuary, you'll notice that we have a few options. Our sermon, which is meant for the preaching, leader prayer, and announcement sections of our service. The deaf preset, which is meant for the lighting on our deaf interpreter. The music section, which is meant for the worship section, and if there are multiple people on stage spread out. The communion light, which is meant for communion, and the baptism light, which is specific to baptism Sundays. You will then also notice a section of lights with specific names, starting with deep blue, fuchsia, blue multi, space, and Christmas. And each one of these controls a different section of lights which illuminate the side-colored lighting. Any of these playbacks can be written over at any time with a new set of fixtures for another sequence of lights. In order to use any of these lights once the power sequencer has been turned on, simply bring up the light you desire to full and the backlighting to full. So you can see the backlighting has been brought up on fuchsia to full and the music lighting has been brought all the way up. Let me show you what that looks like on stage. As mentioned in an earlier section of this video, the power sequencer not only powers on the soundboard and the lighting board, but it also does power on our camera board. And after about 1 minute of powering on, you'll notice that all of our cameras have been brought into selective presets ready to be used on Sunday. One of the key systems that we use at SVBC in order to display our information we are presenting to the congregation on the rear screen is our sanctuary scaler, as seen in front of you here. This can sometimes be turned off, and when this scaler is not functional, nothing will appear on screen. An important point to note is that sometimes when the sanctuary scaler is powered on, it can improperly set itself to the VGA function as it is currently right now. If this function is set, the screen will input what is on the camera itself rather than on the computer. You must select PC in order to show on the computer setting what is actually coming from the sanctuary computer. This is essential on Sundays to display our lyrics, our videos, and our sermon notes. Again, if the scaler is improperly set to VGA, you will not be able to air any of those things listed above. Please ensure that the sanctuary scaler is turned on with the green switch here to on and is set to PC. Thank you. Beneath our main sanctuary scaler is another item called a fold-back scaler. This scaler is set to display imagery on the two rear screens of our sanctuary. If for some reason this fold-back scaler is set to port 2, the sanctuary will incorrectly display the front screen on the rear screen. You will not be able to properly see any videos or any sermon notes or any lyrics on the rear screen. The fold-back scaler must be set to port 1. At the beginning and at the end of our Sunday morning services, the two sanctuary computers, the laptop in front of you as well as the desktop to the left, must be powered on and powered off. In order to power on the laptop, you simply press the power button in the top right-hand corner. It will then power on our streaming laptop. This laptop is only used for recording video and streaming video and sending it to our YouTube online platform. Once the login screen has appeared on the streaming computer, click Enter, followed by 7822, and click Enter. The computer will then log into the screen displayed. Once you have logged into the Sanctuary streaming computer, click on the OBS Studio icon on the bottom taskbar, or you can double-click on the shortcut here. OBS will then open. Once OBS has opened, you're able to manage your broadcasts, and this will be done in a later video. To the left of our church streaming computer is our Sanctuary computer. This computer houses all of our software for communicating information to the congregation through our scaler system, as well as information to our online streaming services. Underneath the desk, in the bottom left-hand corner, is the computer desktop itself. Simply press the button in the right-hand corner to turn on the Sanctuary computer. Once the Sanctuary computer has been powered on, you'll notice that there is an icon on the bottom right taskbar here. This is the Pro Presenter icon. If there is no icon there, you may also notice it appear here in the left-hand corner of the black screen. Click on the Pro Presenter icon to turn on Pro Presenter. Once Pro Presenter has logged you in, you'll be able to use the full functionality of Pro Presenter. Behind the screen of the Sanctuary computer, you'll notice 3 light switches. The 2 light switches on the right control the blinds at the top rear of the sanctuary. During Sunday services, these are supposed to be fully closed, and after the service, they may be opened. To the left is the controller for our sanctuary rear screen. To press the down or up button in order to control the lowering and the highering of the screen. Once each of the items below has been complete, you've officially turned on and prepared the sanctuary for a Sunday morning service or any other service where each of these systems is required for use. In further videos, we will explore more in detail each section, including ProPresenter, the lighting and camera system, the streaming laptop, as well as the soundboard and the recording equipment required to record Sunday services. The powering down sequence for the entire power sequencer, which includes the soundboard, the lighting board, as well as the camera system, is much the same as turning it on. You take the key, turn it 90 degrees, let it come back, and if the red light has turned off, the power sequencer will then begin powering down the entire system. You may notice, as seen above, that the rear screens do not turn off after the power sequencer has been powered off. This is because the screens are part of a system looped into the computer and not into the power sequencer. You will need to use the black hair remote to turn off both screens above the soundboard and also the screen above the right side of the sanctuary.